All right, let me give you, first of all, good afternoon. Let me give you a update on our injury situation. These players will not practice today. Dalton Kincaid, Curtis Samuel, Terrell Bernard, Deion Dawkins, Spencer Brown. Deion is in concussion protocol. Spencer, as you know, has the shoulder. Limited will be Fenarian Mathis and Max Hairston. Max is working through his concussion at this point. Josh Allen is full. Tylen Grable's window will open, and Reggie Gilliam is full also. So with that, I'll turn it over to you with your questions.
Sean, what are the injured reserve possibilities for either Spencer or Curtis Samuel?
We'll see. We'll see. One day at a time right now.
What's exactly Josh dealing with?
Josh
Allen.
Just some overall soreness in his elbow a little bit there. So.
Is that from the hit? He talked about a shoulder. Was it something else during the game?
Yeah, it's about the right player to him. He took 12 hits, so it's it's overall soreness and then the arm, elbow, however you want to say it.
I know Deion was evaluated for a concussion. Did the symptoms pop up later, or what kind of happened?
Yeah, the next day is when I first heard of it. So he was cleared during the game, and then afterwards I got wind of it the next day.
Coach, what kind of progress will you need to see from Tylen Grable this week to maybe have him as a consideration to bring up an active or something?
No, it's he's a young player that we have a lot of confidence in. To your point, probably where you're coming from, Chris, he hasn't played in a while, so he went out, I believe, in preseason there, if not before. So we get that, we understand that. We'll just take it one day at a time, and he'll work back in, and we'll go from there.
Where are you as far as Keon Coleman's progress returning to the active lineup goes?
Yeah, and just to clear it up, the Tampa game was a discipline situation, as you guys know. The next game, being a short run up to the next game, was we rolled with the same group we had the week before, just because of the short turnaround. So really, we're forward looking right now in terms of what could happen this week. We'll take it one day at a time. We'll see where it goes.
What do you see in Brandin Cooks joining this team?
Good addition. Going against him a number of times, always respected his game, his good speed, knows how to play the position. Some guys have good speed, but they're not true wide receivers and football players. He's a combination of both. And like I said, I have a lot of respect for his game. By all accounts, from people that have been around him, some of whom are in our building already, they talk very highly of his professionalism and what he can do. And so, yeah, it's a good addition to us. Obviously Elijah Moore, not here, another good player, good person. Really appreciate his contributions to our team.
What are the challenges of getting someone like Cooks up to speed so he can truly contribute as we're approaching Thanksgiving?
Yeah, no, it's important. But some of that is when you're a veteran player, you're around for a reason, and you pick up different systems, and sometimes it's just terminology. Even though the route may be the same from one team to the next, it's just the terminology. So he's off to a good start from what I understand, and we look forward to watching him today practice.
Steelers are another team that do a great job of getting after the quarterback.
Yeah.
TJ Watt, when you watch him over the years, how have you seen his game just continue to develop?
Yeah, a lot of respect. Obviously he comes from a great lineage of pass rushers and great football players, tough, high energy, plays with a high motor, intense. He's not the only one they have, though, as you mentioned, Josh. They've got three outside that do well together, and then they've got a couple guys going on the inside, including Hayward there. So, and they blitz well also from the linebacker position. So they bring it from a lot of different areas, and it starts with that front.
How much of what you saw from the offensive line after having the weekend to kind of marinate on it is something that requires some sort of a change in the approach, and how much of it is a bad game for a group that's been pretty good over the last year and a half or so?
No, they have been. They've been really good. That 5, and we'll see where things go this week with the lineup overall, and so you carve out a plan every week, and there's some things that, as I mentioned after the game, that we need to adjust. And this week, as Josh mentioned, they've got a really good pass rushing combination of players, and so we've got to make sure that we are on it from that standpoint.
Is there any optimism you might have Dalton back at all this week?
We'll see. Sal, there's a chance. Like I said, we'll just take it one at a time here.
Possibly having both of your tackles out and all the things that you just said regarding Josh and the soreness and the pass rush, what's the approach between now and Sunday to get ready for that?
Well, you've got to be smart with it, right? In every game, there's a different challenge. This week is a challenge that Pittsburgh's defense presents. They're well coached, like I said, and so we've got to make sure that we're going through in the right progression, Tim, without giving away things of, hey, let's make sure we're dotting the I's, crossing the T's in these critical areas.
Or if Dion, concussion protocol under different degrees and all that type of thing of where he may be, but if he's able to go, is it because that you're late in the season, guys are taking some veteran days here or there anyway? Would you foresee him being as prepared as you could possibly be? I'm not speaking the right way. The words are just falling out of my mouth. Right? Would you be confident in him still being able to plug in and play?
I would.
Because,
Yes, I would. Now he's got to clear the concussion protocol. We don't. Good time to start your shopping as well. So after Thursday. Yeah, we are. We're kind of falling. No, but I understand what you're asking. There's two pieces, right? There's this hurdle of the concussion protocol, and then there's what comes after that. So this piece is, obviously the primary situation that's going on. So we got to get through that first.
Sean, just to clarify, is Cooks a consideration for Sunday?
We'll see. Yeah, I mean, he adds to the mix of who we have, and Joe ultimately makes the decision of who he feels like gives us the best chance this week, and then we take it 1 week at a time.
I'm not sure if urgency is the right word, but these are two teams that, tie-break implications are on the line. You guys have been struggling, they've been struggling. The level of urgency perhaps going into this weekend, knowing the implications, the long-term implications this outcome might have.
Yeah, no, urgency is up. That's important any time of year, but to your point, it's it's mid to late November and heading into December, so every game is important. Not that it isn't every other time of year, but every game is important. It's a fun time of year when you're in the hunt.
How did you feel that Ryan Vandermark did the other day? He's stepped in a couple of times for you when you've called upon him.
Yeah, I love his energy, his courage. He's great that way. I mean, the life of, in this case, the role he's been playing as a backup is not easy. You get, 1 to 10 reps in practice, if that, sometimes, and you got to step in and do the job. So, like anything else, some were better than others, but all those are learning opportunities and ways that he can move forward and grow, just like our entire team.
Still early, but when you talk about the tackles, and the injuries and the concussion protocol, and then the way last week went, I know you have to be prepared. Josh, that doesn't happen very often. Your tackles have been tough. They've been out there basically every week. Do you have any conversations with him about his mindset in a game? Because obviously he puts his body out there all the time, but coming off a tough game and the way he approaches this type of game.
Oh yeah, I mean, if this were his first season or second season, perhaps, or definitely, I would say. He's been around long enough to know. He knows the opponent. He's played them a number of times and knows what they bring to the table. So, again, that's where we have to put a good plan in place that where he can stay healthy. And I'm talking about just through the journey of the season, not just one game. So that's really where it starts for us.
Shaq Lawson hasn't really played much or been on a team since last being here a few years ago. What did you see in the workout, and why did you feel now was the right time to bring him back again?
Yeah, we love Shaq. He brings great energy. He's always been one of our tougher players, and he's not afraid to mix it up, right? So, he's been on his journey as well, and it was just more than anything, I think, an opportunity to see what's out there and what may be able to help us. And so, yeah, we take it one day at a time. And it's always great to see ex-players come back, especially with the energy he brings to the table. Everybody loves him in the building. I was walking down the hallway the other day and I heard somebody yell, "Hey, you're back." And so just not even a football staff member, but just a staff member. So, we'll see how he rolls here and get himself little more acclimated to football shape, and so yeah.
Given the emphasis the team's placed on adding receivers over the past 2 weeks, Nicole, and now Cooks, is that an indication that there's something lacking, or something has been lacking in that receiver group, given the fact that this team continues to bring in new receivers?
Well, overall, you're always trying to, and I appreciate what the personnel, Brandon included, have done, to try and continue to find solutions to in improving our football team, every position for that matter, right? So I think it's more of anything that than it is, not doing anything, right? So it's trying to improve our football team like we do at every position throughout the entire year. That's the important piece.
You mentioned that this time of year is fun when you're in the hunt. In the years past, though, a lot of the years, you've already basically clinched a playoff spot by now, or you're really close to it. How's the temperature in the room changed from the years past to this year, where you are truly fighting to get a playoff spot, just given the dance?
Yeah, no, that's it's probably normal life in the NFL. There's a number of teams who aren't even in contention to do that at this point, which is a whole nother deal. We are in contention, and that's where we have to start with our mindset of, hey, we're in the hunt, and there's a number of teams in the hunt, and we got to take it one game at a time and make sure that we understand the urgency, as was mentioned earlier, and the mindset you have to approach things the right way. And there's no undefeated teams in the league. That's the reality of the situation. So things can change rather quickly, and we've got to make sure that we continue to grow as a football team each and every day.
There's some uncertainty with who's playing quarterback for the Steelers. Do you prepare for both, or are you looking at it as Aaron's starting?
Yeah, no, we're preparing for both. We'll see how it turns out, of course, but there's no obviously definitive answer right now.
Sean, with having the mini bye after the Houston game, did that allow you to do things, or how were you able to put that extra time to use, coming out of that?
Yeah, obviously followed up the game on Friday as a team and then as a staff, and then some time over the weekend as well, looking at some things. Like I mentioned, when the full bye week unfolded, obviously you have more days, but in this case, Saturday and Sunday did some work to reflect and look at where we need to, some of those hotspot areas of where we need to continue to improve as a football team.